Yoga means balance or union. And putting yourself into states of balance, each posture that's done is a balancing pose. Bikram Yoga is a beginning Hatha Yoga class. It consists of 26 beginning yoga postures, done 2 times each in a 90-minute period. Yoga was always done as a one-on-one practice. You have 7 billion people today, you can't have 7 billion yoga teachers. But what Bikram Chowdhury created in 1965, he scaled it down to the minimal amount you can do. This system of yoga is simplified. It made it accessible to everyone and anyone. Use of the heat allows you to stretch further without micro-tearing the fibers of the muscles. The object isn't the yoga or the postures. You're not learning yoga or postures. You're learning how to use your body.
I think one of the many things that kind of contribute to the overall popularity of Bikram Yoga is that it helps with your balance, it helps with flexibility, muscle fitness, and then the other thing is the mindfulness with the focus on breathing and the psychological benefits that might be difficult for we physiologists to measure, but they're very important to the participants, and they have a great deal of value.
The safety and correctness is the real key, the real emphasis of Bikram Yoga.
There's always kind of been that lingering question, despite its many benefits, does it put people at risk for sustaining some type of a heat illness? The goal of this study was really to try to measure and evaluate just how safe the Bikram class could be, since it really exposes the participants to a somewhat heat-stressful environment. There were 20 participants aged from about 28 to 67 who had experience with Bikram Yoga. And what we did is we had each of them swallow a sensor that measures body core temperature. And so we measured the core temperature at 10-minute intervals throughout the 90-minute session. In addition, we had them wear heart rate monitors so that we can monitor heart rate every minute. And so what we're looking to see is just how high did the core temperature raise, as well as how high did heart rate increase. Looking at the results, among probably one of the most important findings was when looking at the core temperature, we saw that the average core temperature rose to about 103.2 degrees Fahrenheit, which is considered to be pretty high. About 104 is kind of considered to be a threshold where you start to see some manifestation of various levels of heat illness. One of the interesting findings in looking at the heart rate responses is that, as one would expect, heart rate increased gradually and progressively over the course of the 90 minutes, and it also changed according to the relative difficulty level of the various poses that were performed. But one of the really interesting things that we saw is that when comparing men to women, the men's heart rate response measured as a percentage of their maximum heart rates were higher than the women. So that would suggest that the cardiovascular demand associated with exercising in that environment proved to be a little less stressful for the women compared to the men in this study. One of the real kind of takeaways in looking at the results of this study is to make sure that they're well hydrated before starting the class, are hydrating themselves at regular intervals during the class, and then following class that they rehydrate adequately. I think one of the important things for the new participant to understand is that it does take some time to acclimate to the heat, and they may want to give themselves little breaks and timeouts with regard to the poses during that 90-minute session. But throughout your Bikram Yoga experiences, be intelligent enough to listen to your body.